Good morning, everybody. This is Martin John, and we are here to do another Tao of the Day. Welcome. I am, love the Tao. Talked about the Tao a lot yesterday with a friend of mine, and the Tao has really guided me through my recovery. And if you are familiar with me and my work, you'll know that I got over 23 years of recovery time. And that's drugs, alcohol, that sort of thing, and just being in a state of wanting to escape. That was my past. And the Tao has been a big part of my recovery. This whole concept of living more reasonably. And I think understanding how I lived under the influence and how those influences really controlled how I thought about myself and how I thought I was supposed to be in the world. Now, I understand that I was under the influence, right? I was under the influence of my parents, and I was under the influence of the education system. And what my parents thought was important wasn't important to me. And what the education system thought was important wasn't what was necessarily important to me. And recognizing that I, as an individual, have things that I'm passionate about. And even though those things constantly fall away, right? Because the things that I'm passionate about change, because I'm learning more about myself, and then I become the thing that's important. And that's what Tao really looks at. It's like you're the one that's important. When you look to your institutions, when you look to your successes, when you look to your aspirations, when you look to those things that you're trying to express in the world, all of those things are just manifestation expressing you. But when you get to really kind of get in touch with who you are, you realize that all already exists. And then you can embrace that. Now that takes a long time. I mean, I talk about recovery as the first 5 years is early recovery. And some people that have 5 years in recovery, they're just like, oh yeah, I've been sober for 5 years. I'm like, yeah, you're just getting out of early recovery. And it's hard to hear that. But in year 8, 9, they look back and go, oh yeah, no, I still didn't know anything. And the thing is it takes a long time to heal. Here in the West and the United States, and probably just because the United States has exported so much of its culture, we probably all over the world want destination. We want a destination. We want to find a destination. We want the job that we never have to find another job. We want the relationship so we never have to find. But these things never really pan out that way because there is no destination. There's no way to measure this moment because this moment is going to turn into the next moment. It is that whole let's wait and see. When we've talked about this before, where it's like, the farmer, his horse runs away and his wife's like, oh my God, this is the worst thing. This horse is everything to us. And he's like, well, we'll see what happens. Next day, the horse comes back with a partner. And it's like, oh, wow, we have 2 horses. This is the best thing that's ever happened to us. And he goes, well, we'll see. When the son is trying to break the new horse, all of a sudden he breaks his leg. And they're like, oh my God, this is the worst thing in the world. And it's just all this stuff. Every time you look at the world right now, you definitely have a judgment of it. But you don't have to judge it. Hello, Belinda. So this is Tao of the Day, for those of you that are listening and are interested. Tao of the Day, what I do is I come up and I ask you to pick a number between 1 and 81. You step up and then we'll have a conversation around that chapter of the Tao. The Tao Te Ching is an ancient text written about 600 BCE, and it helps us live a more reasonable life. What I mean by that is it helps us live a life that doesn't ask other things to change for us. We get to embrace that which we are. We get to embrace that which is right now without having to constantly need something external telling us it's all right, or us changing the world around us. How many of us want other people to change for us? I don't want them to cut me off when I'm driving. I don't want my child to act out. I don't want, to pay taxes. I don't want, but it's like Like, how much energy do we put in to our lives wanting other things to change when we can just say, okay, well, that's what that did. Now, how am I going to respond? What am I going to do? That's the relationship we have with our lives, and recognizing that our life is happening singularly. You may feel as if you're living life with all of these other things around you, but your job is to live your life. And that doesn't mean selfishly, because everything around you is you as well. And so that is all part of one life. You know, there's a Tao, and I'll see if I can find it really quick. It's the gift, you know, let's see if I can find that verse. Is it the cycle? Yeah, life, number 51. So I'm going to go ahead and pick 51 just because this is the one that's coming up into my mind. And I'm going to go ahead and read this. If you, once again, have a number that you'd like to select, please come on up to the stage and we'll have a little conversation, and then we'll pick a number and then read through that. So I'm going to read number 51. It's entitled The Cycle. Life is a gift received from Tao. It sustains all things as part of that gift. Everything emerges perfect, unconscious, and free, harmonizing with all things, completely maturing within its own time. All things exist and are nurtured through Tao. It fosters and provides for them completely. Tao does not possess or interfere, each expressing and maturing in their own nature. When their experience is complete, Tao receives them again. Okay, so this is talking about how life is experienced for an individual. Really, this is like, okay, Tao. So life is a gift received from Tao. You have received the gift of life, and that was received through Tao. Now, why is it received through Tao? Tao started everything. Everything kind of like everything has been birthed from Tao, because Tao is the great mother. You know, your ancestors have, you know, reproduced and reproduced and reproduced, and here you are. This is a gift received from Tao. Now, it sustains all things as part of that gift. Everything in the universe is being sustained for the gift of your life. It's all part of the gift of your life, right? Everything is being sustained. Every animal, every being, every stone, every planet, every star in the universe is being sustained as part of the gift of your life so you can have this experience. Everything emerges perfect, unconscious, and free, harmonizing with all things, completely maturing in its own time. You have come into this life as the child of your parents, and your parents got you living under their influence. That's part of your gift as well, right? They want you to live under their influence, and so you suppress yourself and live under their influence. But these experiences that you're going through are being gone through so that you can mature. You know, tempering is an important aspect of all creation. And tempering is the act of putting something through stress to strengthen it. Now, that doesn't mean that you, like, all of the stresses in your life are, but they're abstract. We have to look at them as abstractions, not as like heart-tugging stories. Heart-tugging stories are just there to manipulate and to get people to live under the influence. We're looking at things from a from an observer perspective rather than the perspective of someone being going through these is an important aspect of this, right? So when you look at this from an observer and you say, okay, well, I'm being tempered, right? So you suppress yourself so that you live under the influence of your parents, so that you feel loved and all of these sorts of things. That tempering comes into play, and you strengthen your ability to be you. You learn how to better be who you are. And as that happens, this is part of the gift of your life. The gift of your life is to be tempered, is to be strengthened. Like in the 70s and 80s and stuff, we had all of this sort of work around in some corners of healing. We had this work around like, oh, don't hang out with people that make you feel low vibes or like bad or whatever. It's just like, well, there is something to being tempered. There is a verse in the Tao that says we look to our enemy to show us parts of ourselves that require attention. That's so important so that we can get triggered out in the world and then recognize that, well, I'm mad at that. It's showing me myself. I had someone the other day tell me, oh, it sucks so much that you don't value yourself. And I was really confused. It was just like, I don't know what you're talking about. And then I found out that they had a deal going on in which they had to not be paid for their work. And I said, oh, you're upset that you're in a situation that you can't change, in which you can't benefit financially. And so you're going to look at me and tell me that I'm not valuing myself. I see. Has nothing to do with me. Never did. It just has to do with you and how you're perceiving the world. No problem. You keep going. Like I didn't say that to them. I just let them go on. Whether they want to look at the fact that they, were triggered by my expressing how they thought I was devaluing myself. Whether or not they look at themselves, that's none of my business. They don't actually have to heal. That's not my problem. Like, if they want to look at it, if it comes up and they start looking, it was obvious to me, but it took hours for them to, for me to, like, I let it go at first. I was like really confused when they said, you're not valuing yourself. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to use the bathroom. I went to the bathroom, whatever, and I took a couple deep breaths, and I was like, this isn't about me. I'm valuing myself. I just don't like when somebody tries to tell me what to do. That is my work. I have to look at why I was triggered by her trying to tell me what to do. My work. She was triggered by my not, quote unquote, valuing myself. That's her work. Right? And so this is the thing. Everything is sustained as part of the gift of life. Like, my buddy is being sustained, and her triggers are being sustained as part of the gift of my life. I get to see myself through that. So everything emerges perfect, unconscious, free, harmonizing with all things, completely maturing in its own time. That is the point for my buddy, right? My buddy's going through this. Is it my responsibility to mature this person? No, it's hers. It's my responsibility to mature myself in my own time. I can recognize this and I can approach it. Now, okay, well, now I can mature even more. I can mature more because I have another bit of information. I'm triggered when someone tries to tell me what the fuck to do. I don't want that, right? Like, well, why not? Why don't I want that? I don't have to listen to them, but I also don't have to get triggered when they tell me what to do. It's okay. All things exist and are nurtured through Tao. So first, we exist. All things exist. And we're nurtured through Tao. We're being held and we're being guided through Tao. It fosters and provides for them completely. So I've been fostered through Tao in my life to be this person who wrote this version of the Tao, to be this person who gets triggered when somebody tells them what to do, gets triggered, whatever. All of that. That's been fostered. And then I'm being provided for. So Tao is providing me with experiences that I can learn about myself. Tao is providing me with experiences that I can look at and say, where is that existing within my life? Why am I upset that people tell me what to do? One, I don't have to listen to them. So why am I taking it so seriously? Why does it trigger me? And those are things that I get to bring home. And I get to just sort of sit on a little bit and be like, okay, well, where is this going? Tao does not possess or interfere. So Tao's not going to try and step in and make it easier. Tao's not going to try and step in and get me to understand any easier or anything. I just need to be still with it. And it does not possess me. It's not trying to live my life for me. It's just allowing me to have these experiences. Now, It's sustaining all of these things around me so I can have these experiences. But don't forget, I'm being sustained so that you can have your experiences as well. So it's like, it's not just one side. It's not just, we have to look at this from a broader perspective. Look at it, it's not just me living. I'm being sustained so that you can live. And this is a back and forth. I have no consciousness as far as you're concerned, and you have none as far as I'm concerned. Right? Like, yes, you do. Okay, you're having your own experience, but I can't ever be a part of that because that's happening all inside your skull. That's happening in your brain. All of the experiences that you're having. There is a truth, but we can't know it because we can only see the world from our perspective. So you're having an experience, I'm having an experience, and they're not the same. Truly, Julie's going to come up. I don't know if we're going to pick a number or we're going to go over the cycle.
Wow.
Good morning. Look, you got a new picture out there on the app.
I have. I've decided. Let's splash a bit blue and green about the place.
That's good. I like it. I got some green about the place too.
You have. It's good. It's good stuff. It's
Yeah.
nice, fresh growth colour, I think.
Yeah.
That's just from my perspective, Martin John. It's the only one I can have.
That's right.
I'd like to pick a number if that's all right.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think we're going to pick 56 today.
56. I'm going to get a little piece of paper to write some notes here. What the hell am I writing on? Oh, this is just a bill.
Oh, yeah, right on that if you like.
Right on that, no problem. Oh. Have you been talking a lot recently?
Oh, not really.
All right. Well, this one is titled "Learn to Be Silent."
Do you know that rings a bell? I'm sure I've heard this before,
Oh, I'm sure. Those
I
who
think learn to
know,
be silent isn't always about learning to be silent in talk.
right? Yes.
Maybe it's learning to be silent in action as well.
Yeah, or your senses, and we'll
Yeah.
get into this. Yeah.
Okay, let's go for it.
Those who know aren't drawn to speak. Those who don't know are compelled to. Can you close your senses and your mouth? Can you be guided by the empty void? From there, meditate in silence. Blunt your sarcasm and wit. Simplify your struggles. Shade your brilliance. Be at one with the dust. This is primal existence. Be like the master. She is uninspired to acquire fame, yet honors are bestowed upon her. She is possessed by no one and possesses no one, yet is always loved by many. She is immune to both attraction and repulsion, receptive to both profit and loss. She is noble and is held in high esteem by all beings.
That's
There
kind
is
of
one,
a lovely
there
one.
is, what's that?
That's quite a nice one. I like that.
There's something that really kind of popped out at me. What was it? It was simplify your struggles.
Yeah.
So many of us lean into our struggles so that they can be, so that we can get consensus that we're actually struggling.
Yeah.
We try and lean in. We want to try and say that, oh, my struggle is so bad, and here it is. And then we try and one up each other sometimes, and like how bad things are. I remember that's how I used to be when I was an addict and stuff. It's just like, oh, it's so bad for me. It's so bad. like, and and here, like, I'm going to be helping a friend of mine today move some artwork, and I'm grateful and glad to be helping this person. But I was talking earlier about somebody who was, sort of upset that I wasn't valuing myself. However, I feel happy and content with the things that I do and my choices.
Mm.
But this person who I'm helping today, who has never even like suggested that they pay me or anything like that, is the person who's upset that I'm devaluing myself. So it's not a problem for her to allow me to devalue myself when it comes to her benefiting me.
Yeah,
but but when somebody else benefits from my devaluing myself, well, then then she has something to say. But there is this
that's so
there's this
funny.
what's that?
That is so funny. It's great observation.
Yeah. And for me, the thing that triggered me when she brought it up was that she was, quote unquote, in my mind, telling me what to do.
Mm. She was
Right.
shooting on you.
Right. And I was like, okay, well, I'm able to let that go, recognize that, and I'll go ahead and I'll do that work for myself. But
Yeah.
like this idea of simplifying your struggles, because I can sit here and say, okay, I'm going to go help this person. I'm going to do this. And this person does this. But that's not simplifying my struggles, right? Like what I would be doing if I would be going down this path of like complicating things and making it, but see, and then this fits into here in this way, and this fits into here this way, and this is why this is a struggle for me.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah.
But I can just shut my mouth and help my friend because I love my friend and I want to help them. And it
Yeah.
doesn't matter that they think I'm doing something that they don't like, because it doesn't matter that they have an idea that I should be living my life a certain way. They can
Yeah.
think that. That's fine. I don't have to listen to that. And so here, when I was reading through the Simplify Your Struggles, really popped out at me, because it's like, really, what are your struggles? Your struggles are all sorts of things. You don't have enough money. You don't have enough time. You don't have enough support. You don't have enough like food, whatever it is. But when we simplify it and we start to understand, well, what does enough mean?
Mm.
And we just kind of break it down. It's just like, you know what? Actually, in all reality, in this moment, I'm doing just fine.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
Like simplify it. Don't make it so complex. Don't complicate things that are like life. Life is already complicated enough. I mean, it's simple, but it's like once you start thinking about it, it just gets more and more complicated. So it's like simplify all of these things. Your struggles,
we
what
do
are they?
that. We do the complicate, we are the synthesizers of complicate. That's
Right.
what we do the best. When we see things as they are in simple form, to be fair.
Yeah.
They are simply, I'm simply sitting here, I'm simply breathing, I'm simply in a room that is got space for me to sit in. This is great. This is all very simple stuff. I complicate things by saying, I'm in a room I've never been in before. I don't know where everything is. I don't know where I am on the map. I don't know where the seashore is, maybe. Or that's
Right.
complicating things up. I don't want to do that. I just want to be.
Yeah. So that's the line that really popped out at me. This simplify your struggles,
Mm.
because like they could be just beautiful new experiences, but
Yeah.
you're currently struggling. I remember when I started writing with my left hand, like years ago, it was hard, but I just did it every day.
Yeah.
And that made it simple. It made it simple. Yes, it was a struggle, but it was just something I was going to do anyway. So I just did it. I didn't
The
think
simple
about it. I didn't
struggle.
complicate it. And now I write very well with my left hand,
Yeah.
you know? Um, and so there is no struggle. Like like, it's this idea of chop wood, carry water.
Yeah. Absolutely. I enjoyed that. I did enjoy that very much. It had that simplicity was beautiful in that verse. The
Yeah.
simplicity of it all was beautiful in that verse.
I'm going to read it again. And if you have anything else to add, we can bring you back up and we can look at it a little further. Those who know aren't drawn to speak. Those who don't know are compelled to. So, like, just starting there, it's talking about, like, look, this is what it's like to be human. If you know something, you don't have to fill the air with everything. You can sit here and be still. And you can allow people to not know. That's okay. Can you close your senses and your mouth? Can you be guided by the empty void? You know, this is like that line. Can you close your senses and your mouth? Can you be guided by the empty void? That's like not having to fill that space, not having to fill it up, not having to fill with your mouth, not having to fill, oh, I feel this. I feel like you're feeling this. I feel like you're saying this and all of these things. From there, meditate in silence. So from there, so first it says, those who know aren't drawn to those who know aren't drawn to speak. Those who don't know are compelled to. Now, whether you're either of those people, can you close your senses and your mouth? Can you be guided by the empty void? Can you be guided by this emptiness? From once you're guided by the emptiness, blunt your sarcasm, simplify your struggles, shade your brilliance, be at one with the dust. This is the primal existence. Be at one with the dust. You know, we're dusting all the time, and it's like it just covers everything. That's an interesting thought, right? Like, dust covers everything. There's nothing that it doesn't cover, and it just sits there, kind of embracing everything, holding it. Be like the master. She is uninspired to acquire fame, yet honors are bestowed upon her. She is possessed by no one and possesses no one, yet is always loved by many. She is immune to both attraction and repulsion, receptive to both profit and loss. She is noble and held in high esteem by all beings. What are your thoughts?
I'm dust.
Yeah.
Whenever I think about dust, I always think of the particles that make it, and the more I move around, the more I live in a space, the more dust I make.
Yeah.
So kind of easy to be at one with the dust, because I am the dust, and the dust is me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do like it. It's lovely. It's a very peaceful number, I find. A very peaceful being number.
You know,
56.
one of these that another thing that's sort of like is starting to emerge from this is like, she is uninspired to acquire fame, yet honors are bestowed upon her. She is possessed by no one and possesses no one, yet is always loved by many. She is immune to both attraction and repulsion, receptive to both profit and loss. This is expressing, like, even though she's not trying to do this, these things are happening, and it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Right? She sits like, she is uninspired to acquire fame, yet honors are bestowed upon her. If you're someone who wants fame, you're going to see, oh, good, honors are bestowed upon her. I want honors bestowed upon me. I'm going to be uninspired to acquire fame. I'm uninspired to acquire fame. I'm uninspired to acquire fame.
You're still, yes, yes,
You know,
you are. You're
and
inspired to. You'll do exactly that.
right. And so there's this thing, like, in my mind, I can picture this master kind of being like, yeah, I'm not looking, and getting honors bestowed upon her, probably not in the way people who are looking to acquire fame want honors bestowed upon them.
Yeah.
Like, I have many people who bestow the certain honors upon me, which is just telling me how wonderful my work is, or telling me, or just loving me at a distance, or doing the things right. Those are true honors for me.
Mm.
I don't want a trophy or a
Mm.
medal or you know, like, it's funny. I've never wanted to be married. Um, and
Well, I was going to ask you to marry me, Martin John. You've just blown that away, haven't you? Huh?
well,
I was gonna shuffle Brad along a
you
little.
trade in for a younger Brad.
Yes.
So but there's this idea, you know, and I've heard this, like, I want people to celebrate me and my
Mm.
love for somebody. And I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, interesting, right? Those are honors bestowed upon you, right? But in this very
That's
public way.
interesting. That's interesting because I've never wanted to get married either, even though I'm with Brad.
Yeah.
Brad is an individual that I feel that I don't need to tell the world. The world will see how
Right.
I am with Brad and how Brad is with me, and that's it. You know, it
Yeah.
makes
And
no difference.
that's, if we look at that, right, as if we look at that as acquiring fame, right, having a party,
Yeah,
being able to have, like, that is, you're uninterested in acquiring that fame, in acquiring, like, in other people acquiring knowledge about your life because you are presenting yourself in a way that, you know, makes it public. But it's like, if they see it, they see it. If they don't, they don't. If it changes, it changes, and whatever. Like, it's
yeah,
just, you're just allowed, like, that again, like, resembles that dust. It's like, look, this dust is getting, like, I'm going to wipe the dust off and it's going to collect again. And it's
yeah,
like, there is a constant, but the constant is you and Brad, not as a couple, but as individuals that are making decisions together
yeah.
currently.
Yes, yes, absolutely. Two separate burning candles,
Right.
spreading light. That's it.
Yeah.
There's no, candles. A candle is nice and simple, and if you can walk about with your inspiration lit up, which is kind of nice.
But then also, like, when you have two candles in a room together, it's brighter,
Yeah, yeah,
you know.
yeah.
When it's just one candle in a room, it's all right
It does the
you know,
job.
does the job. But two candles are brighter. Now, we can go into arguments of, like, well, then three candles must be more.
Yeah, it
and
gets a bit warm though, and it's a bit of a fire hazard. So two will do me.
Right.
Thanks.
But I, you know, like, I look at my life where there's, like, so many people in my life that I love, and of course I don't have any physical romantic relationship with anybody at the moment, but
Ladies,
there's
did you
so
hear that?
many.
Ladies.
I'm not interested. But
Oh,
there are so many there are so many moments in our lives where it's just like we can bring, like I feel like I'm a candle in the room of your lives,
yes, you are.
right? Like, and other individuals can be like, it's not
It's not a
about
chosen thing. It's not. Yeah,
aloneness,
yeah. It's
you
not
know,
a
because I'm
chosen
not,
thing.
there is no there, although, you know, things like, I mean, you could find solitude within a relationship.
Yes.
So it has nothing, it's not that, but it's like, to be able to love broader, you
Yeah.
know, in a way, and like, and no one person is going to be able to provide you with everything your life, I don't want to say requires, but everything your life is bringing up.
Yeah. Your experience.
Right. And so
Yeah.
you need experiences with other people, and you're going to new people's homes, and you're doing all of these sorts of things that are putting new experiences in your life that Brad alone can't just provide. Like,
That's right. Yeah.
and Brad is having his own experience,
Yeah.
right? And
Yeah.
you're having yours. And your experience includes his light and my light and the light of your grandkids and the light of your children, the light of all of the people like Penny and all of the people here on Wisdom and all
Yeah.
Noom Vibe, whatever, and all of these things. And it's like you have a candelabra of experiences that are lighting your space,
Mm.
and and when and there's something brilliant about that idea of like you simplify your struggles. And it says here, simplify your struggles and shade your brilliance.
Mm.
That's all about like, you don't have to be the brightest candle in the room.
No, I actually enjoy it when other people are bright too.
Yeah. And then you
That's
work
kind of
together.
nice. Yeah. Or even just, appreciate their brightness.
Yeah.
Simple as that. It's nice.
And it's not a competition of who has to be brighter or who's, like a candle's a candle. It's going to be as bright as it is. And that's it.
Yes, it's light is light.
That's right.
But
And
yeah,
it's,
it
yeah.
is good. It's nice to be quiet sometimes, Martin John. It really is.
It is. I've been experiencing like just a draw to just more and more quiet, and I think that it's just what I'm responding to, but it feels like it is like quiet is really important right now.
I think it reminds me of when I was a little girl, and I never really spoke much at all. But I do remember what I saw, what I observed, where I
Yeah.
was, and that was because I was silent.
Yeah.
So that's kind of something nice to remember. Good feelings as well of just being and
And even
observing.
even as we're just kind of wrapping this up, and like our voices are getting quieter.
Mm,
And like we're just kind of we're there. There's more air in between the words. There's more stillness here,
that's good.
and it just feels just like, oh, it's just nice to be quiet.
Thank you so much, Martin John.
Thank you. That was
Speak to you
56.
soon.
Thank you so much. I love you, dear.
Love you.
Dr. Rao's gonna come on. We're gonna chat a little bit with Dr. Rao.
Martin,
How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm blessed.
Good. So I saw you. I thought, okay, let's go.
Oh well, thank you for coming up. Yeah, we were just talking about silence.
Yeah, be in the.
Talking about silence. There's the paradox of everything.
You're trying to be in silence. That's the main thing, right? So
Yeah.
that's okay. You can exchange your experiences and your difficulties and all. But the main thing is, don't be in the chatter.
Right.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
I do very simply, Martin. Um, I'll give you a word. I think you will like this.
Mm-hmm.
Brahma Kavacham.
No. Rama Kamachan?
No, Brahman Kavacham.
Brahma?
Kavacham. Kavacham means it's like a shield around you,
Ah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is, don't look at a thing that is giving you the shield.
Mm-hmm.
You are in it, not forgetting about it is the shield.
Mm.
Not being in it is the thing. Not being aware that be. I am already, it's like a choiceless awareness. Remember that word, choiceless
Mm.
awareness. You don't have a choice. Your mind has a choice, but you don't have a choice really because you're always awareness. Look at the other way. To satisfy the mind, if the awareness is not there, is there any life?
Mm.
You are in the
No.
you are in the rumble of the mind.
Right.
Rustle of the mind or chatter of the mind, that's the one you want to realize.
Yeah.
Then you are not the mind. It can come and go.
Right.
You are fundamentally silence. And in the silence, all this happen. But the problem with the human beings is we get stuck in the noise. That is the problem, right?
Yeah.
So Brahman, a Tao, is our shield.
Yes.
This is already there. You don't have to invent. You have to talk about it and all that. The
Right.
more you talk about it, you are out of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
That
the
is
way
the
I do it,
paradox. That is
yeah,
the paradox.
I coined a term for this. What's going on within me and outside of me. I am in that silent awareness, choicelessly.
Yes.
I don't do anything about it. But then I want to think or talk or whatever I do consciously. That means intentionally. Then out of it. See, that's the thing people don't get to do is end it.
Mm.
And end it and be in the awareness. But then, like two words, right? Catch that silence in between the two words. Start with that. Then you realize I am really it. This chatter is outside of me. And
Right.
then the chatter doesn't bother you.
Right.
You can talk about it, but still you see, I'm talking, right? I'm using my thought, but intentionally I want to tell Martin about Brahma Kaucham.
Yeah.
It's not a thing. It's already there.
Right. Right. Yeah.
Don't look at you are in it. Don't look at this outside of me. That is mind thinking, oh, this is something that will help me, that do this. And no, nonsense.
Right.
You see, that's why one sentence really caught my attention was in that movie, on a documentary I saw, Ramana saying, our pristine presence, consciousness, or the self, whatever you call it, is very simple. Be in that, and then for to be just to that simple thing, we have invented so many traditions, so many religions, so many faiths, so many creeds, and all that. All this is noise.
Mm-hmm.
We get caught in. See, blessing is that's what I always talk about. We can go to a room. Those people are exchanging, word feasts, like killing each other with I'm right, and all that.
Right.
That's all nonsense. I mean, you don't have to be killing each other. Oh, by the way, Martin, check out my article on satsang. That is, you and me are satsang. That means we don't have an agenda how to get a transaction out of Martin, out of
Yeah.
you thinking how to get transaction out of Rao. Just be friends, and then what we do, we explore the truth together.
Yes.
There is no teacher, no student, just exploring truth. That is satsang. Sats is good people. Good people, not to use each other for making a living or whatever, but good people on the quest for the truth, and they don't bring their personalities or social economics, nothing. So that is a pattern I'm suggesting for social media.
Yeah.
Read that. I think you'll
Where
appreciate.
is this?
LinkedIn.
Okay.
Rao Kolusu is the
Yeah. Yeah.
go there. I have a lot of articles there, but this latest article I did was on satsang. I think
Okay.
satsang, that I think you are also doing the satsang with other people,
Mm-hmm.
and then you end up. Actually, we shouldn't be doing this also. Too much talk. But if we can modulate it this way, where we are going to pursue truth, and everybody else. See, that's the problem with big rooms and all these people happening. They talk and everybody wants that entertainment and stimulation and all that. But if you really analyze that big crowd, even in this app, you see they are not in the truth quest. They're trying to tell something anecdotal that worked for them, or they're just a skilled, articulate, loudmouths.
Yeah.
And they can come and kill me, but that is the truth.
That's true. I agree.
So I'm telling for our sake. We're not criticizing anybody because they are also Brahman. But what I'm saying is this this rattle, this continuous chatter goes on in and out.
Mhm.
Right? I'm trying to say very important things, Brahma Kaucham and Satsang. And that is going to enhance our quest for the truth.
Mm.
Not impressing or not anything. But after all, what it is, finally, are you silent? Are you quiet? Do you enjoy the bliss of the Brahman? Are you seeing Brahman everywhere? Those are the spiritual quest for us.
Yeah.
So being in that, exploring that together without any modern life's trappings, that is blessing itself.
Yeah.
We don't need anybody's approval. We don't need anybody following anything. But on the other hand, what I discovered is when you go with good intentions with other people, they try to draw you into their state of mind.
That is what they love to do.
Yeah. And they say, like-mindedness, like-mindedness. We got to be
Yes, yes.
like-minded. We got
The
to grow.
human experience and all of that, you
Uh,
have to.
we got to grow together. We got to experience together. All that is really immature
Yes.
spiritually.
Yeah.
But we have sympathy for them. But if they don't listen, leave them alone. Let them be.
Hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's on that. Like they're now.
Yeah.
They like I don't know if it was the
That,
same.
that is the major thing is this cannot be taught to people. This cannot be forced upon people.
No, not
Yeah.
at all. This
They
is
got
like
to,
this is something that is experienced and then and
yeah.
and and arrived at
Yeah.
through living.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
that's why have that shield of the Tao or Brahman
Yeah.
and do the satsang and be happy.
Absolutely. Oh, thank you
You know
so
what you
much,
do?
Doc.
You read that article and then we will do a room together on how social media can use ancient wisdom. That way
Oh,
they will be more fruitful for them. I think we will do a service for people. Okay, I can do
oh,
it by
yeah.
myself.
I'll reach out. I'll reach out. I'm
Uh,
on LinkedIn right now, and so I'll look
uh,
you up,
yeah,
and then we'll.
no, I can do it myself. But then if you are there,
Oh,
we will because when I do several platforms together, so we go all.
right.
So let's plan that. Okay.
Oh, absolutely. I'll shoot you a text after I read it.
Yeah. Okay. Very good.
All right. Wonderful.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.
I'm going to open my room now, and
Okay. I'll let everybody. I'm going to be
today's
closing
topic.
this, so everybody can go over there.
Yeah, today's topic is mind-body connection.
Okay.
We are
Mind body.
below the Brahman and all that.
And my timer is funky. You just got kicked out. I know that you have time left, but if you want to come up and tell everybody what you're doing, I'd be happy to have you come up and I just pushed a button. I don't know if this was Dr. Rao. Two people came up at the same time as I was pushing the button. Amanda, how are you?
Oh, hi. Good. How are you?
I can I invite Dr. Rao up and you come back up? You and Dr. Rao came on at the same time, and I was going to push
Yes,
Dr.
I'm so
Rao again.
sorry. Of
But come back
course.
up because I'd love to chat. All right, I'm going to swap Dr. Rao. Dr. Rao's going to tell us what his room is going to be, and then we're going to talk. And then, was that Amanda? I just
It'll
think it
take a
was.
minute,
Go ahead.
just a half a minute. We are
Yeah.
doing proactive wellness series. Today is day 19, but we are doing 20 points or something like that, right? 15, I think. Today is the fifth point. What we are emphasizing on body-mind connection. How our below the Brahman, the psychological process are causing problems with our body. purely psychosomatic, like,
Yeah.
I'm going to explore that a little bit. And so the people can do ordinary life, what they can do to be healthy so that their effect of the mind is understood and they don't use it wrongly, but they could use it positively. That's what we are going to focus on. Thank you, my friend.
Beautiful.
That's it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. All right, we're going to bring up Amanda Blackwood. Amanda, thanks for joining me. I don't think we've talked before, have we?
No, I mean, I've been a Noom subscriber for a very long time, but I just got into this app yesterday,
Okay.
and I, went and checked out this vibe, and I just before I know it, I was live on mic with you
Here,
guys.
yeah, that happens, I guess.
Yep.
So,
Yeah,
do you have any familiarity with Tao of the Day? This program you are currently on?
I do not.
You
I
do not.
am frightfully new.
Okay, no, no, no,
Um,
no, no. There's no way of being old, so don't worry about it. So
okay,
are you familiar with the Tao Te Ching?
I am not.
Okay, I'm going to give you a little primer. It is a ancient text written about 600 BCE. Okay, and so it's old. It's kind of
Yeah.
in our consciousness, it's deeply embedded in our consciousness, and it consists of 81 very short verses, and very short meaning the longest might be 250 words. And
Ah,
what I do is I invite people up to pick a number between 1 and 81. Now, before you pick a number, I'd love to just know a little bit about you and see what's going on in your life right now.
oh yeah. This sounds cool. So, I am kind of in the middle of like a life shift, but in a good way. Um, I can just, I guess, start by talking about my weekend first, because that was quite eventful. I had a little bit of a hard weekend. I experienced fainting for the first time.
Hmm.
Um, and I fainted a couple times on Saturday, and I'm
A
all
couple
well
times.
now. Yeah, a couple times. I was in my
Was this
apartment. And
dehydration or
it was. It turned out to be dehydration, and I didn't even realize that I had been slacking
in
until it
your
was
in
too
your
late.
water
Yep.
intake? Are you just kind of are you currently detoxing? Like, or over the last 6 months, have you decided to make any major chemical changes in your life?
I have not.
Okay.
No, no.
All right, just asking because I know, like,
Yeah,
I was hospitalized a number of times for dehydration during times of detox, I suppose we can call it. um,
really.
yeah. So my history, and I come to a lot of this through the realm of recovery. I got 23 years clean and sober, and there's a lot of sort of work that I do around that. But do you know what caused your fainting? I
Um,
mean, like, and why
well,
you were not drinking water
I think, it was the long weekend and I was just enjoying being able to sleep whenever I wanted to. And I kind of just got a little lazy with making food and drinking. And I was just mostly sleeping, not realizing that I had barely eaten anything, in a matter of a few days and
mm-hmm.
barely had
Well,
anything to drink at all. And I kind of just, it got away from me and I didn't even notice until it was too late. I just noticed I felt a little weird.
yeah.
And,
Well, let's find a number between 1 and 81 while we have this sort of energy, kind of like while we have this topic in the air.
yeah, yeah. Um, let's do, you want me to pick, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
okay.
why you're here.
Yeah. Okay, I want 21.
Okay, 21 is entitled Tao is not temporary. Now, Tao, so you know, is kind of the void. It is considered the great mother. It is what everything is born of. I like to look at it for a visual sort of way of understanding. You know, the vacuum that exists within every cell, that
Mm.
vacuum is Tao. And
Okay.
it is everything. Okay. It is within everything. It touches everything. It is a part of everything. So Tao is not temporary. And the verse goes, the master is at peace, knowing she is of manifestation, and that manifestations are always temporary. Knowing this, she always follows Tao. How can she be at peace knowing she is temporary? Because she doesn't cling to her life or ideas, and still she is fulfilled. She cannot be, Tao cannot be fathomed or known. How can she follow it? She allows it to lead her from moment to moment. Tao is and is always. Even before the manifestation of time and space, Tao is beyond both temporary and forever. How do I know this is true? The evidence is within me as it is within you. What are your thoughts?
Is Tao kind of like, um, is Tao kind of like God?
So, yes, in so God, depending on how you approach God,
Or even
is
like unknown? Or,
yeah, it can't be known. The moment you try to understand Tao, you're
yeah.
already on a wrong path.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yep. It definitely
Yeah.
does.
So, right. You know, like all of the work that we've done to understand God has really made God kind of a pissant. You know, like God is upset that you do something with your life. Really? Like I can appreciate other people more than God can, right? Like, you know, God's going to punish you. Really? Like your all knowing, all powerful God is going to be upset about something like that. And the reason that we have a God that gets upset with people is because we have tried to understand it. We've tried to make it. We've tried to make God in our image, rather than
Yeah,
recognizing we're God in His image, right, or
that's
whatever. And
right.
that's Tao. So Tao is broader than any way of understanding God in a Western mindset. Does that make sense?
It does. It makes me wonder, is Tao similar also to like, um, if if God was bigger than we even thought he was, and he was so big that as soon as we start to try to understand, cannot, we cannot fathom.
Yeah, you can't. There's no way to fathom what this is. It's arrived at.
I see.
And the first verse of the Tao says words cannot express this, right? So don't take this text and give it any credence to what Tao
Yeah.
is, because Tao is more than this. And if every religious text would start that way rather than being like, this is what God, you know, because words are so limited.
Yep. Yep.
So Tao is not temporary. And you know what comes to mind with your experience is manifestation. You had this experience of fainting for the first time. This was an experience that you had, and it's going to affect how you move forward. It
Yeah.
also spoke to you about awareness,
Yeah.
awareness of the fact that you have a body.
Yeah. And I have to eat.
Well, you know, there's this, you have to care for yourself.
Yeah.
You know, and
Yeah.
there's probably, I would guess, areas in which do not involve food that you are probably not caring for yourself.
Yeah. Yeah.
And when we start to, and so Tao, you know, the experience that you're living is showing you places to add awareness.
I see.
and to maybe try and love yourself a little bit more.
Yeah, I'm not great at that. But I'm not,
That's
you
hard,
know,
right? It's
I
hard
usually
work.
sell myself pretty short. But
Yeah, that's hard work. I'm going to read through this again, and I want you to know that my timer is a little funky, so you are going to get cut off in about a minute, but you are very
oh,
much
okay.
welcome to come back up. And I don't know why my timer is weird. You probably have like 4 or 5 minutes left on your end, but
Yeah.
yeah, so it says 51 seconds left on mine. Just so you know, like just that's going to
Okay.
be a weird thing. I'll let you know when you're off and you can come back up, or you can drop out
Okay.
and come back up now. Either way.
All right.
But I'm going to go ahead and read this through one more time.
Okay.
The master is at peace knowing she is of manifestation, and that manifestations are always temporary. Knowing this, she always follows Tao. How can she be at peace knowing that she is temporary? Because she doesn't cling to her life or ideas, and still she is fulfilled. Tao cannot be fathomed or known. How can she follow it? She allows it to lead her from moment to moment. Tao is and is always, even before the manifestation of time and space. Tao is beyond both temporary and forever. How do I know this is true? The evidence is within me as it is within you. Okay, you just dropped out. If you wanted to come back up, I would love to continue chatting about this. Burp, burp. Okay, there you are, I think. Yes, Amanda. Okay, so one thing that I would love to, well, first off, is there anything that you heard in this a second time that really resonates?
It's very new to me.
Yeah, it's okay.
Um,
And it could be
and so
no.
I'm
This is poetic, and it's a different way of hearing things and stuff. But what I'll do is we'll go through it just a section at a time. So the first section says, "The master is at peace, knowing she is of manifestation, and that manifestations are always temporary." What does that say to
does Tao tell us? I want to know if it tells us about our purpose in life.
you? Well, that's a that's an interesting question of wanting to know an answer. And there are no answers, right?
I
There
guess
are
because
no
I'm
right.
hearing a new concept, and then my first thought is that's my first interest to know what is.
I want to know. I want to know. So let me.
Yeah.
that is the manifestation wanting to
Okay.
know, right?
Oh, okay.
You are beyond manifestation. There is a part of you that is more than you will ever know,
That's pretty cool.
and the body, the manifestation, this thing that fainted because it
Yeah.
didn't have water and food,
Yeah.
is temporary.
Right.
The master is at peace knowing she is temporary. And the
Ah,
manifestation and that manifestations are always temporary.
okay. That does make
Okay.
sense.
So this body and this experience you're having in your body and even your mind, okay, so the thoughts that you have, those are temporary. There is something within that is not. This is why the next line is knowing that this experience as Amanda Blackwood is temporary. Knowing that she always follows Tao. So the thought, does Tao do this? Does Tao do this? What is my purpose? Why am I here? Ta, ta, ta. All of that temporary. All of that is in your mind. All of that
Yeah.
is in your body. So then
I
we
don't know
ask
if
the
that's
question.
promising or sad.
No, 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 no. It's promising. Right now it's sad because you have invested most of your life in this manifestation.
Yes.
You have what I would consider lived under the influence of what you can produce.
Yeah.
Whether you get good grades, whether you make money, whether you do
Yeah.
good or bad things, whatever those things are. All of that has to do with manifestation. All of that has to do with your body.
Right. Yeah.
And then the question that this verse asks is, how can she be at peace knowing she is temporary? Right? That's the question that you just asked. How can this give her peace? Because this is sad.
Yeah.
How can
Yeah.
that be? And then the question is, because she doesn't cling to her life or ideas, and still she is fulfilled.
I see.
It isn't what you're doing in your life that is giving you fulfillment. It is who you are
Mm-hmm.
as a master. The master says, who I am is what's important, not what I do.
So will who I am carry on into a new manifestation?
Not the who you are that is associated with your body and mind, but the who you are that is driving all of the things that you are. You know, there are things that you're interested in that people told you not to be interested in
Sure.
in
Yeah.
your
Oh,
life.
yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All of those things will eventually come back, and you will have to embrace those things in some way because those are who you are. You know, otherwise, you're living under the influence of your parents who are like, we don't want you to be like that.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Or society saying, like, we're not going to pay you for that. And
Right.
so you had to put it aside. You had to put all these things that you are, that are intrinsic about you aside
Yes.
and
Yeah.
focus your life. There's a verse that talks about like our society forces you to make a living rather than just living.
Yeah.
And so here you
Very
are
true.
making a living, and that's why you need to sleep for 20 hours
Yeah.
because you're under the influence of a world that is trying to get you to be something that you have no interest in being.
Mm-hmm.
But you have to go do it because this is what is expected of you. This is the influence under which you're living. So
Mm-hmm.
this is why she doesn't cling to her life or ideas. Your life is simply just all of the stuff that you're doing. Your
Yeah.
ideas are just all of the stuff that you're thinking in terms of like, oh, I don't like this, I don't like that, this and that, whatever. But
Yep.
through all of this stuff, like the master is just looking at this like chop wood, carry water. I got to do this and to get to this place, and I'm moving. And there's not a desire to change. However, there is a certain love that I have for myself that I would say you probably want to try to cultivate, just because you're not going to be able to think clearly until you do love yourself.
Probably. Yeah.
Does that make
That
sense?
makes sense. Yeah. It
So
would open a
it's
window
not
that was
like
closed.
go make wholesale changes in your life because you
Mm-hmm.
need to. No, it's loving yourself will connect you deeper to the quiet of Tao,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because my guess is while you're sleeping, you're also kind of online and doing other things and like,
Yeah.
right? All of that kind of stuff is continuing to influence you while you're
Yeah.
sleeping. And then the next line is, Tao cannot be fathomed or known. How can she follow it? And this is what I'm saying to you with like the idea of loving yourself first,
Yeah.
right? Because you can't follow Tao because you can't know Tao.
Okay.
Tao cannot be fathomed or known. How can she follow it? She allows it to lead her from moment to moment, meaning that Tao, or the master, when she loves herself, will be guided from moment to moment by Tao. And she won't have to think about what's right and what's wrong and what she has to do and what she don't have to do.
I
And the
see.
reason that is it comes in next. Tao is and is always. Now, Tao is the thing that is not temporary.
Mm.
Even before the manifestation of time and space. Before this planet even existed, Tao was here plotting the path. Tao is beyond both temporary and forever. Those things The idea of temporary and forever and our life and years and all of this means nothing.
Mm-mm.
It's all just what we're experiencing in this moment.
Jeez. And this
And
just
what
goes
we
on
say,
forever?
and well, there is no forever.
So it goes on
Your,
beyond
your,
outside of the parameters of time then.
right.
Yeah.
Your concept of forever is temporary,
Yeah, yeah. Because I
right?
think
Like,
within
because you're the one that
parameters of
has the
time.
concept of it. Right.
Yeah. Mm.
So the evidence, and then it ends with, how do I know this is true? The evidence is within me as it is within you. And the thing is I know that you have had experiences in your life where you have been quiet and you have just wanted that quiet to envelop you completely.
Yeah. That I
And you
know.
have just wanted everything to just be still. And that is what you follow. And not because you're escaping the action, but because you recognize that there is nothing else.
Right.
And I'm
That sounds
sure.
hard to do. Easy to say and hard to do.
Well, right. Well, it's not about doing. That's the thing.
But it's a mind place that you're in your mind and your heart. So
It is
to
not
get
in the
there would
mind.
be, it's not in the mind.
It's not in the
Okay.
mind. And it's not in the body. Those things are temporary.
Hmm.
It is about coming, and this is where it gets confusing and really just
Yeah.
sometimes troubling, because it's just like, well, how do I achieve it? You don't achieve it.
It's paradoxical in a sense.
Right. You come upon it, I like to say.
Yeah.
It just,
Yeah.
like, it happens, but you give yourself the best opportunity to come upon it by doing things like meditate or have conversations that kind of get your mind, because sometimes it's nice when it gets so complex that your mind can't fathom it and just goes blank.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
sometimes, but you can only taste it,
Hmm.
and once you start to grasp at it, it gets further and further away,
Oh, yeah. That's maddening.
right? And this
Yeah.
is the old paradox of, like, quicksand. It's just kind of like, the more
Yeah.
you struggle to understand it, the
Yeah.
more you're going to get sunk into it. And so really, so much of this is about, like, not clinging to your life or your ideas. Oh, and you just dropped off again. Please, if you'd like to come back up, you can. These two questions in this 21, how can she be at peace knowing she's temporary? And Tao cannot be fathomed or known. How can she follow it? Those are really important questions that you're going to start to ask, right after being introduced to Tao. And it says here in a very kind of simple way, because she doesn't cling to her life or ideas, and still she is fulfilled. Wait a minute. Like, my fulfillment has to come through not my life or my ideas? Then where is the fulfillment going to come from? It comes because fulfillment is, and always is, fulfillment is not a thing that you chase. You are Tao. It is the thing that you are. Fulfillment is you. And on the other end, she allows it to lead her from moment to moment. Once again, allowing Tao to lead you. You observe your life rather than actively living it almost. You just observe what you're doing. You're like, oh, I'm going to work. Oh, I'm doing this thing. Oh, I'm doing this other thing. Look at who I am now. Like, wow, look at me, like, far out. I'm in the grocery store and I'm buying food, and, like, look at the foods that I'm buying. I'm like, oh, wait, like, as an observer, why am I allowing this? Why am I allowing Shannon to buy these foods that I know, are going to make her crash, right? Why am I eating so much sugar? And then, as you just start exploring and looking at your life and observing your life and observing you live your life, this is how you allow Tao to guide you. You say, oh, wait, like, from that higher plane or from that deeper place, you get to just look at yourself and just observe what you're doing. You don't judge it, but when you can influence yourself, that is Tao influencing. I hope that was helpful, and I hope you enjoyed that. If you'd like, I will send that text over to you in the chat so that you can read it over for yourself. Thank you so much, Shannon. Thank you, Julie and Dr. Rao, for joining me. This is Martin John, and this is Tao of the Day. I appreciate you guys coming up and listening. Hopefully we'll get another opportunity to chat. And yeah, if you're interested in purchasing my new translation of the Tao Te Ching, you can do that through my profile. Otherwise, you can find me here regularly. It seems like I've been doing this every day recently for the last 2 weeks or so. So we'll see how long that lasts. Love you guys. Hope you guys have a wonderful day. And until next time, keep recovering yourself.